Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Maine's Black Bears baseball head coach, Nick Derba. How are you doing today?
Doing all right, Brandon. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about your coaching experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I got the chance to start coaching up here right after I played professionally with the St. Louis Cardinals. Steve Trimper, who's now at Stetson University, called me up in my final season of professional ball and said, "Hey, we may have a job opening here for you. I think it'd be a great transition." And got the chance to come and be an assistant coach here at the University of Maine. It's been an excellent, the best decision I could have ever made was to make a transition over to college coaching. And, since then, I started out as a second assistant here. I've been lucky enough over the last seven years or so to become a head coach here. And I'm going into my fourth season this fall. So it's been a really awesome, rise up as a head coach, and get the chance to work with a lot of awesome kids, a lot of great people, meet a lot of good people, and help and hopefully impact someone positively through the game of baseball as I have been myself.
That's amazing. Can you talk about how? Can you talk about your coach being elected for the Manhatten College Athletic Hall of Fame?
Being elected to the Manhattan College Hall of Fame was certainly one of the greatest honors, if not the biggest honor of my playing career. I was lucky enough to be part of a couple of teams that really were I think were amongst the best to come through the Northeast. And it still kind of renders me speechless. But at the end of the day, the Hall of Fame induction is it may come out as a personal award, but to me, it was much more than something that I achieved. It was more of a thank you to my parents, a thank you to the coaches that I was lucky enough to be surrounded by, and maybe most of all, the teammates. I was a pretty good role player that fit into a really good college baseball team, and the success I had was pretty much a result of the other guys around me. So, for me, being inducted in the Hall of Fame was certainly the most prestigious award I could have ever had, for my playing career. And, I look back on it now, and it's obviously such an awesome accomplishment in my life, and, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Can you talk about your amazing playing career?
Yeah, I don't know how amazing it was. I was like I said, I was really lucky that I was on a lot of really good teams. Even starting in high school and before that, I was always on a lot of teams that won. And I think, not being the best player on the team always made me strive to want to be better, and it really pushed me to, in that direction. It forced me to learn a lot and to utilize certain skills, certain, non-physical skills, from the mental aspects of the game, to really try to find an edge. And, I was lucky enough that I think I was really able to kind of tap out my potential as a player. From a physical standpoint, I knew it was time to retire when I retired. I was never going to be a 10-year big leaguer. Maybe I might have been lucky enough to scrape out a couple of games as a backup guy, but at the end of the day, I was never going to be a household name, and I wasn't going to be an everyday player, because I just think that, when I looked in the mirror, I realized that my skills were limited. Hopefully this coaching thing is where I'm best suited, and I believe it is. And in being in college baseball allows me to do a little bit more than just coach baseball. It allows me to help and mentor, and hopefully have some guys, guide some guys away from some mistakes that I made, and guide them towards some decisions I made that were positive. So, my playing career brought me to the place where I am right now, and that's the best part of my playing career, in my opinion.
Can you talk about the process of getting drafted as a player?
Yeah, every kid wants to play professionally. If I told you that I wanted to go to medical school after college, and that was my plan, and that's what I wanted to do. And I always kind of in the back of my mind hoped that I'd get drafted, but at the end of the day, I kind of realized that I wasn't a physical specimen. I was a good defensive catcher. I was a decent. I hit okay in college, but getting drafted was something that I hoped for. I didn't think it was really going to happen. And when I got drafted, it was I wouldn't say a shock, but it was pretty close to being a shock to me and a surprise. Even though I knew I had some interest from some teams, but it was awesome. It was like the coolest thing. Getting that phone call from the St. Louis Cardinals was the coolest thing. I could have really at that time fathomed. I actually got to the point where we were in the 29th round of the draft, and I shut the computer off because I was like, "There's no shot of getting drafted at this point." So for me, getting an opportunity was all I wanted. When I got that opportunity, I was hoping that I'd be able to play Double-A baseball. I surpassed my goal when I played professionally, and as far as that goes, I'm pretty satisfied. I mean, there are obviously things I would have done differently throughout my playing career, but I can't say that I'm dissatisfied with how things turned out from a playing aspect.
As a coach now, how does that help you to prepare your baseball players to get drafted?
Preparing someone to get drafted is not something that I do. That's not what my coaching. I'm not coaching players to get drafted. And what I mean by that is this: my number one priority for every player is to come in and get a good education. That's the number one thing for me. I want them to get a good education, utilize baseball to pay for some school debt. If they spend the time, they do the things that they don't, the things that when no one's looking, and they work out, they get after it. They utilize our facilities. They work with us, and they have the talent level to do so and continue to progress. They will get drafted. So the drafted portion is really not up to me. The being drafted is really up to the individual. We've had guys drafted over the last few years. We've done pretty well for the Northeast. Someone gets drafted out of our program almost every year. Coaches don't get people drafted. Programs don't necessarily get people drafted. The kid gets people drafted. The team they're on gets people drafted. So what do I do to help them go play professionally? I try to give them an opportunity to be a professional in every sense of their life, and show them a process that they can utilize, whether they're in an office or on a baseball field.
That's great advice. Can you talk about the experience of the Maine versus Cancer and how that started?
So Maine versus Cancer, it started with when I was like 10 years old, and I had a basketball teammate, Michael Rinaldi, pass away of brain cancer. And, that was something that's like kind of really burned in my memory. And I was just a little kid watching a friend suffer from such a terrible disease. And when I got to take over as the head coach here, being involved in children's cancer was something that I really wanted to be involved with. And, every year it looks a little differently. We've done some stuff with Versus Cancer, which, works directly with children's cancer. We've done some things locally. A couple of years ago, we had a player that was diagnosed with testicular cancer, so that turned into an educational thing. Every year it looks something different. And I just want people to understand that there is much more. I just want to help in any way I can. And that's how I got started, really. From my own personal experiences with the disease. and that's probably how it'll continue to move on as a head coach. I don't want to be. I'm not, when we do something for cancer or for any sort of cause, period, it's as genuine as possible. It's not. It's hopefully we raise some money, but it's not a self-promoting piece, if you will.
Can you talk about your achievements as Maine's coach?
Well, to be very honest with you, we haven't achieved anything yet. We've had some good players, we've had some good teams. My biggest and happiest successes that we have is that we've been achieving the highest team GPAs in the program's history. We haven't won an America East. We haven't been to a regional. We haven't been to a super regional. So from the standpoint of team play, we haven't accomplished anything yet. And when we have players, and I think we have players now that realize that when we're talking about accomplishments on a team basis, if you don't win a conference, you haven't achieved anything. You can finish in first place in the regular season. If you're not playing in a regional after the conference tournament, the season is not a success by any means. And that's what I'm hoping for. I think our biggest as a coaching staff, our wins are changes in culture and academic successes. And that's something you got to build on. That's the biggest building block for the next step, which hopefully is winning.
Can you talk about the recruitment process at Maine and how has it affected due to the coronavirus?
Well, I think if you ask any college coach, it's gonna Division I, it's gonna be the same thing. Number one, we just can't get out and see anybody. We are physically limited by dead periods. In the same sense, we're not able to bring kids on campus to see the campus because of the dead period. And then thirdly, it raises some issues for a lot of places, whether or not or how many people teams are going to be able to bring on for future classes. For me, the biggest thing has really become the recruitment of your own team again. Recruitment of your own players and making sure that players are doing well in life and getting to know them on a deeper level, because this has impacted us in such a way that no one anticipated. So for me, the recruitment process is really important. Getting out and finding players, something we can't do. But what it has allowed me to do as a coach is spend more time in this time of year taking care of my guys. And that, at the end of the day, is the most important thing. When guys come to Maine, and I want them to feel that they're our number one priority, which they are. So that's how it's really changed.
What is the official visits like at Maine for baseball?
Well, we typically try to incorporate a football game and a hockey game. Our official visits are, well, in the past they've been nearly everybody's a committed player that comes for the official visits. But if you're an uncommitted guy, you're coming in the fall or late summer. Not a lot of guys on campus. It's just show campus. We got to eat, normal official visit stuff. But if we're on campus and school's in session, we always take guys to a hockey game or a football game. Sometimes both. And really, it's time for the recruits to know know the team. To me, the biggest selling point at Maine is the team. They're the ones that you're gonna get the real answers out of. And I'm really proud of the group of guys we have. And I think that if you're a guy that wants to be here or anywhere, you got to find out what the players think.
What are you looking in as a recruit for?
Listen, you got to be able to play, number one. Like, the skills have to be there. But I want to see a guy that wants to compete, that likes to be on the field, that really wants to win. And you can see guys that are super, super talented. And, they are not if they're not doing their thing, they're not necessarily playing at their highest level of effort. I just want guys to go out there and play like their hair's on fire. And I want to be able to see that there's actually some pride from pitch to pitch. And I'm okay with some emotion. I have no problem with that. I just want guys that really want to be on the field and just get after it. That's really it.
What are some things that you wish to accomplish in this coming season?
From baseball side of things, win the conference championship, get to a regional. That's number one. From just strictly baseball play. Off the field, I would like to try to get into that 3.2 team GPA, stay over 3.0, graduate over all of our guys on time, and continue to put together a program that is valued within the community. If we do those three things, I think I'm doing my job.
What advice would you give upcoming high school athletes looking to get recruited to the next level?
Work hard. Do well in school, number one, because grades matter. Okay, grades matter. Number two is work hard. Work hard and be realistic. Division I baseball is not the end-all, be-all. I was lucky enough to play a lot of really good baseball players in professional baseball from Division I, II, and III. Junior college, those are NAIA. They're real routes. Find somewhere where you're going to play. That's my suggestion to you: is find somewhere where you're going to play, and you're going to get better, and you're going to find the right academic fit. If you do those things, you're never going to be upset about your decision to go to school.
What advice would you give upcoming players looking to get drafted in the NBA draft?
Yeah, well, I would say work hard. Work hard and play to win. That's my number one thing: is play to win. If you play to get drafted, I don't understand the mentality. Play to win, and you'll be okay.
What advice would you give upcoming college coaches looking to get into the profession?
It's I think in coaching in general, it's you're gonna have to cut your teeth. I left professional baseball in AAA thinking I was gonna get a paid position right away. Didn't happen. You gotta volunteer. You gotta put your time in. No matter what, be patient. And if you want to do it, it's a good profession, but it's definitely not easy.
Where can my listeners find you on social media?
At Nick Derba on Twitter. I have an Instagram account, which I don't remember, to be honest with you. I use that from time to time. And I have a Facebook account, which I never use. So Twitter is the place to go. It's at Nick Derba. And,
Where can my listeners find Maine's baseball on social media?
If you do at Maine Baseball, the Twitter account, there's also goblackbears.com, which is our website, and has all of our handles for Instagram and Facebook.
Thank you again, Coach Nick, for your interview, and best of luck in the future with Maine Black Bears. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at @talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Nick, for your interview. And best of luck.
Take care. Thank you.